everyone, hope all is well. Today I have a little bit of an interesting experiment. Since so many gaps came to be AI generated, I'm wondering what would happen if I also got an AI to generate my distribution for me. So I have ChatGPT here, and I'm going to see what kind of map it comes up with. In the end, I will also play it and see if it's any playable. And for a final challenge, I will also try to make ChatGPT play its own map. Let's start by asking it some basic questions. I would like to make a geoguessr with 100,000 locations. Can you assist me with its distribution? What does it want me to take into account? Geographic diversity. That's good. Difficulty. That's also, yeah, very fair. Accuracy. Yeah, okay, it's even aware of misplaced locations, I guess. Use a pre-existing geoguessr map template as a point. I don't know what it means by that, but sure. Random location generator, yes, that's what people do. Check for accuracy. I'm not going to check the accuracy of 100,000 locations, but yeah, very fair if it's handpicked. Review it and test your map. Okay, so far, not too bad. With that said, let's try and get it to give us a country distribution. So, can you suggest a way to distribute the locations across all the countries with official Street View coverage? Okay, it's giving me a method. It wants me to create the list of countries, okay. Determine the proportion of locations. It wants me to population-wise, okay. Interesting suggestion. Generate locations, verify the accuracy once again, and refine the list. Now, let's try and get it to give me an actual list of countries. Here's an example distribution based on population. China is 12,000, India 11,000. Okay, so it's entirely population based. Okay, AI populated world moment. Like, this is an actual GeoGuessr map that exists. Oh, Ethiopia, yeah, Vietnam, Ethiopia, definitely countries with official coverage. DRC, yeah. So let's try to get it to come up with something else. You're including countries like Pakistan, Vietnam, and Ethiopia, which have no official coverage. Can you come up with a different distribution? Okay, here's a revised distribution, once again based on population size. Looking good. Looking very good. Note that the distribution percentages are based on the country's population size and may not accurately reflect the actual number of street view locations in each country. This is very good. That's actually true. Like, China literally does not have 12,000 panos. And it's also telling me to possibly adjust the distribution. I like that. This is looking good so far. Let's see if it's gonna exclude the countries. So far, yeah, still looking good. But we need to wait to see if, for example, DRC is gonna get excluded. Okay, let's see what it gives me now. Lots of USA. Oh my god. Okay, is it just removing China? Is it just removing Germany? Okay, no, Germany's still there. I think that's the same amount as well. Yeah, it is literally the same amount of locations. Nice adjustment, Mr. OpenAI. Okay, otherwise just looks like it's gonna give me the same distribution here, apart from just removing China altogether. What? It's gone from 30 countries to 27. So like 3 countries, like 2 that are not China, have just disappeared. Interesting. I don't know which ones, but I guess this is gonna get an extremely biased distribution now. Also, I just noticed that now it's very much not just taking population into account. So let's just ask it, what else does it want me to take into account? Geographic diversity, yes. Interesting. Cultural and historical significance, yeah, if you want a cultural map, then for sure. Accessibility. It's important to enter locations that are accessible to players. So, for example, you won't want to include remote and inaccessible areas, as this could make the game frustrating or unfair for some players. Okay, so basically what this map is saying that a rural world is cancelled because apparently you need to travel to locations to find them. Interesting. I'm not sure that ChatGPT has a good idea about what geoguessr is all about, but sure, I'm definitely going to take accessibility into account. Okay, so let's get it to give me a final distribution. See what it's gonna give me. Okay, here's the revised distribution that it's giving me. USA still. Don't think it's changing much. Is it changing anything? Not so far. Yeah, I think it's just gonna give me the same distribution, which is okay. China 1000 locations. Was it even in the first one? No, it's not. Okay, so it's changing some stuff at least. Is there any countries with that coverage? So far, looking good. Okay, 28 countries. So there's the same list, but with China added. Okay. So I guess this is going to be our distribution. 20% of the locations in the USA and 12% in India. I'm not sure this is going to be the most playable, but we shall see. Now, the problem is that some of these countries are very big. So I would also like to get some input on what the state-wise distribution should be. First, let's start with the USA. It's 20,000 locations. Let's see what state-wise distribution does it want it to be. Okay, California, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania. Okay, so it's population. It is a populated world. Yeah. Alaska's not real by the looks of it. Yeah, okay. At least it's giving me every state geographic size. I mean, its population. There's no geographic size involved. Like, hello? Alaska 50 locations. Availability and quality of street view imagery. Okay. I still don't fully trust that, but at least it's something. I'm also going to ask it for a couple more state distributions for countries like Brazil or Canada, but I'll just go ahead and see if there's anything interesting. I will bring that up. Okay, so I've also continued to generate distributions for India, Australia, Canada, and Brazil. And let's just say it was a bit of a struggle. For India, it started giving me states with absolute no coverage whatsoever, so I'm telling it to fix that, and then all of a sudden it just halves the number of states, including some that do actually have coverage. Then for Canada, Brazil, and Australia, it all gives me reasonable enough distributions if you're a population addict, but it's all the incorrect amounts. Canada had 3,000, even though it told me to have 2,000 Canada locations in the map, etc. So in the end, I get it to fix it, and it comes up with some interesting things. In Brazil, for example, Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul, two very big states, have 80 locations, while Rio de Janeiro has 1,280. While waiting for my map to generate, I read ChatGPT's description of the distribution again and found something quite interesting. So, let's just see what it says about the distribution. This distribution includes a mix of countries with high population and street view coverage, as well as countries that provide geographic diversity and cultural or historical significance. So, I would like it to explain how Mexico, with population much higher than the UK, quite a lot of street view coverage, and certainly a lot of geographic diversity, is way below the UK, or Indonesia is non existent. Now, I'm no YouTube video essay, so I'm not gonna bang on about it, but it's quite interesting to see what this AI's description of cultural or historical significance is. So much about the unbiased AI, I guess. With that said, let's take a look at the final map. So, I'm with the finished product, and let's just say it's not very good. Africa is missing, and so is most of Northern and Eastern Europe. LATAM is kind of bad, and look at the state-wise distributions of the US and Mexico. Also, Southeast Asia does not exist, and neither does New Zealand, or Mongolia, or Kyrgyzstan. Also, there are 73,000 locations in the map, when I asked for 100k. So, now, I will play a game on the map, And then I will make ChatGPT play a game. Let's see how it does. Okay, first I will play my own game. It's probably going to be bad, considering that I don't know the USA or India. This is, I think, probably northern-ish. There's not many locations in north, so I'm gonna guess Gujarat. It was northern. Yeah. Okay, Japan. No, not one of the plates I know. E10. I could scan for this, but it's not gonna be very entertaining. It's probably somewhere around the road 10, which should be somewhere south-ish, but I don't know where. There's the E10. Good enough. Oh yes, beautiful genuine USA. Oh, Florida. Fair play. Okay. That's a very Spanish font. Right here. And finally some France action question mark. Yeah, nice. So yeah, surprisingly diverse distribution given how many USA locations there are. I actually almost made the map look playable. And now, let's get ChatGPT to play its own map. So, first, load into this location, see what it can do with it. So, the description I came up with is the following. We are in a flat rural area. There are trees all around, but they are somewhat far from the road. There are wooden electrical poles and a metal fence supported by wooden posts. The road has white outer lines and double yellow middle lines. It says United States. That is correct. Let's see where in the United States does it want me to guess. Okay, so it suggests the Plains, Midwest, or PNW. Let's see if I can get it to give me one specific area. Okay, it tells me to guess in Kansas. Let's see how many points it scores. I think it's a bit more towards here, but I'm not good. Yeah, it's more south. Not too bad, though, for a text-based description. Let's take a look at round 2. Okay, it's definitely going to struggle with this one, because again, not a lot to describe. Maybe the buildings can help, but we shall see. The description I came up with is as follows. We are in a flat, somewhat dry area. There are scattered bushy trees around us, as well as some palm trees in the distance. Right next to us is a tall stone fence with triangular tops. There are also multiple tall buildings visible in any direction. The sun is to the south, and the image quality is unusually low. Okay, it is thinking about southwestern United States or northern Mexico, which would be quite far off. So let's again ask it to give me a specific location. Specific location is in the city of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Well, sadly, that is not correct. What does it? Yes, tall buildings like the Santa Fe Opera House. That is sadly not it, but good attempt. 0 points. Okay, moving on to the next location. Okay, again, hard-ish to describe, but the double yellow lines has been pretty good for it so far. So maybe this will also work. With a film description for this one. We're in an area with rolling hills and plenty of trees. There's a river to the west of us and some houses to the south, as well as a red house to the northwest. The road has white outer lanes and double yellow middle lanes. There are red and white chevrons, as well as tall white sticks with red tops sticking out of the guardrail. In the distance, there's also a sign that says 90 with some hard to read text above it. Okay, it's correctly identifying the speed limit sign as 90 kilometers per hour. However, sadly, it thinks it's New Zealand. So, even though it understood the speed limit, it sadly very much failed to match the road lines and all the other clues. But just for fun, let's ask it very New Zealand would it guess. Waikato region of the North Island. So let's go in and guess. This one's like got alright, yes. And once again, 0 points. I'm really hoping for an urban location with slightly more clues. I want to see how it does with language. Sadly, this is once again rural. So, the description I've came this time is as follows. We are at an intersection. To the south of us there is a cornfield, while elsewhere we have a mix of fields as well as trees. There are wooden electrical poles and black chevrons on a yellow background. There's a sign that says stop. Road lays are white on the outside and double yellows in the middle. There's a large one in this. Okay, so it's thinking United States, which is... It looks good. Let's see where in the United States does it want me to guess. Since obviously you can still lose a lot of points in it. Okay, Midwestern states, which I think it could very well be in. Okay. It wants me to guess in Ohio. Okay, it's talking about the road markings. Let's see if it's correct. And it was, in fact, just over the two borders in upstate New York. Not too bad. And let's go to the last round. Let's see if it can break 10k. It would need a really good guess, but it's possible. We shall see. In the description I came up with this. There are wooden electrical poles with a yellow warning sticker on them. It also has some text underneath, but it is hard to read. Perhaps one of the words ends in C. There are white chevrons on a background as well as a shabby looking fence. There's a wooden house with red tiled roofs next to us. The place is flat with agricultural grasslands as well as some sheep. Rural area in the United Kingdom or Ireland. Okay, sounds good. Let's see if there's anything about the text. It does not. And finally, let's see if it can give me a more specific area. Okay, it says it's difficult to pinpoint. Yorkshire, Devon, Cornwall, Wales. Interesting, considering that I did say it's flat. In Ireland, it says Kerry, Cork, or Clare counties. And let's see if it can give me one area. And it wants me to guess Devon. Okay. Probably not gonna be the good enough score for 10k points, but I think it's gonna be close. So let's go ahead and guess somewhere near Plymouth. And it was in fact Lincolnshire. So yes, not quite 10,000 points, but it gave it a good attempt. Obviously, due to the map distribution, many of the rounds were somewhat close to each other, so I had to give them very similar descriptions. But all in all, it got 3 countries right, so not the worst performance. That's all for today. If you want to play the map, or if you're interested in reading the full conversations, I have put links in the video description. Other than that, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, good for you. Bye bye.